Thank you for tuning in for a special May the 4th episode of the Boba Squadron podcast. Let me first introduce you to the squad. First up, a collector and streamer. We have my friend Yoko. She goes by Livin' La Vida Yoko.
Hello.
Sorry, just the wave. No, I'm kidding. You can say
No.
hello. Of course.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. Another friend and collector, a lifelong Star Wars fan. He plays Captain Carson Teva. Paul sun-hyung Lee is here.
What's up, everyone?
And of course, Boba Fett super fan and Carson Teva collector. We have Ernie, the Fallen Fett.
Hey guys, what's up?
Tonight we're going to be talking about what we love, of course, collecting Star Wars, and most importantly, collecting Star Wars. And for a special May 4th episode, we have a guest for tonight. He's also a fellow Star Wars nerd and toy collector. You may know him from, his toy store, Hollywood Heroes in New Jersey. Or if you're like me, you know him from his show that was on the Travel Channel. Please welcome the toy hunter himself, Jordan Hembrough.
Hey.
No.
Happy Star Wars Day, everyone. Happy Star Wars Day.
Jordan, how do you celebrate May the 4th?
I celebrate like everyone else does. I go to my closet and pick out one of my many Star Wars shirts. And usually, I take like 5 minutes to figure out which one I'm going to wear. And if I have time, I sit down and watch all the movies. I'm old school. I start with Star Wars, though. I start with like Star Wars, Empire, Jedi, and then I'll do like Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones. I kind of watch them in the order that I saw them when I was a kid. I don't watch them like from, number 1 all the way to number 9, though. How do you guys do it?
Yeah. How do they watch the trilogy?
Yeah, I'm curious how everyone else watches them.
If I was going to sit down and watch them all, I think I'd watch them in release order still.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way the story was written, right? So I'd rather watch it the way it was written than the way chronologically.
I've got friends of mine who refuse to watch 4, 5, and 6 before 1, 2, and 3. Like they will not do it. They just said this is the way that it was meant to be viewed. And I've got one guy who's like really like this metaphysical kind of whacked out kind of like whole philosophy guy. And he's like, man, you got to watch them all 1, 2, and 3 because that's the way they were meant. And then you don't understand stuff. I'm like, no, I kind of watch them. Like when I was a kid.
Have you heard this? Sorry, go ahead.
Right. I watch it like the machete cut. I think that's the version, the machete cut, which is you watch episode 4 and 5, so Star Wars Return and Empire.
Yeah.
And then on the reveal that it's Vader, you go and watch episode 1, 2, and 3, so you see the rise of Vader. And then you watch episode 6, which is Return of the Jedi, and it is the redemption of Vader, right? And then like with shows like Solo and Rogue One, those have come in afterwards, so you can squeeze them in there too before if you wanted to do that. And then of course, like how deep of a cut do you want to do? Do you watch like all the animated series too? So the Clone Wars,
my god,
and then Rebels.
It's only 24 hours.
Right? Well, there you go. So you're not trying hard enough then.
Yeah, totally doable.
Oh, the 2x speed playback.
Yeah, man,
is possible.
Speed run.
Ernie, do you have an order?
Yeah, I used to be like Jordan as well, as far as always 4, 5, 6, right? And then whatever plays in between is, but you're seated and glued for 4, 5, and 6. But now, growing older and into it, and the release of so much, like Paul's talking about, I really like to do Solo, Rogue One, 4, 5, and 6 now. I really liked Solo, and then Rogue One, that ending really changed that beginning of Star Wars for me and hypes it up so much that I love it in that order now. And
nice.
So that's my way to go for it. But when I do watch 4, 5, and 6, on May the 4th, you have to watch the original cuts. The ones we always talk about, right? That are very super hard to find, and only the last versions are those DVD versions, and that's it.
They do have the despecialized editions that are fan made, which are pretty decent, especially if you want a high def version.
I have those too.
Movie. Jordan, I mean, the four of us were pretty familiar with kind of our entry points into Star Wars, but obviously you're a big collector and fan. What
As
was
I'm talking to you, my seat is going down further and further, so I'm getting shorter. I'll just compensate here. Sorry, getting shorter.
what was
But
like
when
what was your entry point? Like your first exposure to
Oh
Star
my
Wars?
God. I remember like it was yesterday. So I was on vacation in Maine. I used to go to Maine all the time with my family, and we were up there, and I was 6, and it was a rainy day up in Bangor, Maine, and we had nothing to do. So the whole family and family friends and everything, they all went and we saw Star Wars, and I was hooked. Like that was it from the center, from the moment I saw it. I was like, millions and millions of other kids hooked and obsessed with it. And I didn't have a lot of
Wow.
friends growing up, so Luke Skywalker became my best friend, and Princess Leia was my girlfriend, and Han Solo was like my best bad buddy to hang out with. I grew up with the toys as well, so I was like, every other kid in the world pretty much. I just loved it.
So it was like a chance viewing of the movie, and
Yeah.
the story starts from there.
I'm sure. You know what? It's like I'm sure if I didn't see it like on a rainy afternoon, eventually everyone like I would have seen it like everyone, but I
Yeah.
just everyone remembers their first time seeing Star Wars. I mean, you guys all do.
Yeah, mine was Empire at
Okay.
a movie theater as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then from there, the best versions of Star Wars were always during the holidays on Channel 2 and watching it in my parents' room while the family celebrated from Thanksgiving to Christmas. And Channel 2 would always show them that
Oh,
way.
yeah.
So my favorite memories are watching Star Wars in my mom and dad's room of like, one, you weren't allowed in your mom and dad's room, but because
Yep.
it was the holidays, like you could be in there and watching it. And the holidays always mean Star Wars to me, like so much because of that. And I've actually, Paul, you talk about special cuts and everything. Somebody actually has released out there versions online too of the Channel 2 ones. So no
Oh, yeah.
commercials, but the spinning logo and everything comes in and
Aw.
out in the middle. I love to turn those on sometimes.
That's amazing.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Well, I remember when they first aired Star Wars on network television up in Canada, like they turned it into a huge event. Like it was just this massive. I don't know how much of it was simulcast. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it was simulcast from the United States, but it was the first time Star Wars being released, network television. They had all these little interstitial video bits. Debbie Reynolds was introducing, Carrie Fisher
Oh, that's
as
cool.
for the commercial breaks, and it was a lot of fun to watch. And I remember it was like one of the first shows that like I had to desperately and needed to record this on our VHS machine at home, right? And we had to make sure that there was enough space on the tape, and like you couldn't record over it and whatnot. But it was just this whole it was an event. And harkening back to when I was 5 years old, my dad took my sister and I to see the movie. I have no idea why he took us to see that movie. It was just we were suddenly at the theater, and it's one of the most memorable occasions of my life is just seeing that. So
When
yeah.
you went and saw it, was it already like a worldwide hit, or was it just sort of like, oh, we'll go see it? Because that's what it was for me. We didn't know what it was.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I was 5 years old, so I have no
Yeah.
idea what was going on in the world at that time. It's just like I remember it being special because my dad took my sister and I to see it, right? And my
Yeah.
parents were always working, so anytime we got to spend with my dad was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Mhm. Your dad is a bit of a movie buff, though, right? Because I've heard stories of him taking you to go see your Jaws story, which
Yeah.
I'll never forget. So was he like often taking you
No,
to movies as a
those are the only
special
two
thing?
movies I remember him taking us
Okay,
to.
just
I
those
think
two.
Jaws was just, again, he's an immigrant, immigrant parents. He doesn't speak the language properly. Didn't realize that this was probably the most inappropriate movie to bring a 5-year-old to. In fact, Jaws was the first movie I remember him taking me to as a kid.
It's like one of my favorite movies, though.
Oh, it is.
There
Like
you go.
hands down, still my favorite movie of all time, even more than Star Wars.
All right,
So-
even on Star Wars Day, yeah, it
Even
comes
on
that
Star Wars.
in Close Encounters.
Right.
So, Yoko, what was your first Star Wars moment? Like, when did you see it?
So yeah, I know. I laugh. The Force Awakens brought me in. I mean, and I watched them all right before.
Yeah.
So I was working at Funko at the time, and we were getting ready for Force Friday, and I was like, all right, maybe it's time I finally watch these nerdy movies.
Might as well.
And yeah, so I watched, I watched the originals, I watched the prequels, and I was like, I mean, I liked it enough, I enjoyed it, but I really fell in love with The Force Awakens with Rey and BB-8.
Really, I love that.
Yeah.
I love hearing the. I don't want to call you a next generation. I love hearing the new audience for like falling in love with it again with Daisy Ridley and that new cast and Boyega and everyone, as opposed to like I'm old. I call myself old school. Yeah, I'm old, but it's I love that.
Yeah, that's the beauty of a lot of franchises that are that have been around for so long. Like they have different properties that different generations can come in on at different points. Although Yoko, you were just a little bit, you're same generation.
Yeah, I know. I just was out of the loop. Yeah.
Jordan, with that early collecting and all the toys, and the merch that was out when you discovered Star Wars. What's the earliest kind of like collectible you recall? I'm sure you know it exactly.
I remember the Star Wars action figures, and nobody could get them. And I do remember, Dad looking everywhere, in New Jersey for them. And I was in second grade. I'll never forget this. I was in Mrs. Sarinen's class in second grade, and Jesse F. George School, elementary school. And my father came to my class, and he actually interrupted class with a bag. And he had been on like this business trip, in South Jersey, and found these action figures in like a 5 and dime store and brought them to me. And that's what I used for show and tell. But like, I was hooked, Luke Skywalker, Ben Kenobi. I think C-3PO was in there. And like every other kid, it was a new world to me. You know what else? I played with Mego a lot. Remember the Mego action figures? They're 7-inch and everything. So like to me, this new scale was like really cool. Like it fit in my hand, and it was all plastic, and that 5 points of articulation that we all, know and love now. That was so cool and to me. And, that's what it started me. And I was obsessed. I collected everything.
I can't believe he brought it to school to you. I don't think my parents would ever bring anything so distracting. But maybe did he know that you needed something for show and tell, and there was a deadline?
No, I think Dad knew at a young age. Like, I was one of those kids that I stayed in my room a lot, so I think he wanted to give me something to sort of help me not be so dorky. So of course he bought me Star Wars.
Right.
But yes, here.
How did that work out?
Yeah. That was it. No, it's funny. I lost my dad 3 years ago, and I really just started to start reflecting upon how supportive he was of collecting and everything I did, whether it be, getting me toys if I did a good grade, or if I was going to my grandparents for the weekend, he'd get me. I got the Land of the Jawas place to hang out and do something at my grandparents' house.
Nice.
So my room was, filled with everything. And the funny thing is I got rid of it all. And then when I became an adult collector, when I was in college, I started buying it all back again. And that's when people thought I had a problem. I remember my mom telling me, she was like, you're kind of getting obsessed with all this again. I'm like, I know. I got it all back again. I collected it all back again. I know. Not really.
Whoops. Well, Paul just recently got a nice pickup of some vintage figures.
Yeah.
What'd you get?
I was a neighbor of mine. They're moving, and so he had a yard sale, and it was one of these "let's get rid of all our junk."
Yeah.
And he mentioned that I got some collectibles if you're interested in looking at them. So I went over and I saw them, and he had 11 of the original Kenner action figures from A New Hope, including, the crown jewel of all of it was, they'd been played with, but not too roughly.
Yeah.
But there's an intact Darth Vader with the vinyl cape and the lightsaber, the original lightsaber, the sliding one.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I was happy there was an R2D2, an R5D4, and a C-3PO.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, droids and everything. And it was just like, at the end of the day, I was looking at them, and I said, these aren't worth a ton, but I'll give you $20 for the whole lot. He said, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I brought them home, and like, it's not something that I want to flip, but it's like something I remember playing with when I was a kid. and that nostalgia factor is really nice. So I'm going to clean them up. I'm going to put them in my collection, and have a lot of fun, just sort of reminiscing about them. Because again, I didn't start really collecting the action figures until Empire Strikes Back, because by then it had become like a machine, and they had all the figures ready and the play sets and all this stuff. So I missed the first wave, but the second wave for sure hooked me.
That's my favorite story. Like, I do this professionally day in and day out, and we've got this store in New Jersey, and people come in, and I love that story that you're telling me, because I see like a lot of people who come and say, I've got all this stuff. I don't know what I want for it. Give it to someone who really wants it. And there's so many people that come in. I'm getting a lot of parents coming in with their kids now who are like 8 and 10, and they go through the bins, or they go through like the shelves and look with their kids. And it means so much, not only to the children, but like to the parents too. And I take photos of everyone. We post them on a website and our social media, but like, it's like the best story, because it's so heartwarming, and it proves that, I mean, we're so lucky to live in this world, because Star Wars really is this generational collecting, like, love fest. I mean, I see the parents loving it so much. And I asked a little girl one time, I'm like, why do you love it so much? She's like, because my mommy watches it. My mommy's a nerd, and my mommy has a Star Wars t-shirt on. I think that's so cool. Do you collect vintage, Yoko, too?
I don't, but not for Star Wars anyway, because I collect the toys that like I played with when I was little, right? Like I still have all my original My Little Ponies and She-Ra, and
oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, things like that. So Star Wars, I've been collecting the newer items, but I do collect vintage collection. That counts.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And Ernie, you're a effect guy, right?
Yeah, but I've had everything Star Wars. I mean, I used to buy everything in triplicate and order cases and everything like that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. I'm one of those collectors, and it came from what you're talking about too, as far as having what you couldn't have as a kid. I grew up low income, played with my friends, played with my cousins' collection. My cousin had all of the originals and the Falcon. And I always went and played at his house and played with them. And always in the back of my head, I'm so sorry, Kevin, I love you, but it was still like, you don't deserve these. Like, he was in trouble all the time. He was like a bad kid. And so he had everything. And it always made me so mad. I was like, he has the Falcon and all the ships. And
different Kevin?
Yeah, we put.
Wait, were you apologizing to me, or your cousin's name is Kevin?
No, my cousin's name is Kevin.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's so confusing.
I didn't even think that. Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, we've just been doing the show. How? Okay, no, please continue, please. That's great.
I've hated Kevin all this time. No, I don't hate Kevin. No, my cousin Kevin, he was spoiled and had everything, but it allowed us to play with everything. So as I hit that moment of growing up and getting checks yourself, it's the first thing I did. Power of the Force, old stuff that you could have. And when I did, you make those relationships at Walmart with the workers and everything to make sure you get the cases and you get the Leia with dots on belt without Boba Fett half circles, full circles. Like, it was a crazy time of collecting and getting everything, right? So I got all into that. And then unfortunately, I had a divorce to go through, and I had to sell all of my collection. So this is getting everything back, and now just what I want. And I don't order 3 cases of anything anymore. And now it's pick and choose like that. But it's hardcore collecting at one point, and it was a lot of fun then. But you got everything that you couldn't have as a kid. Yeah, I think that's what pushes a lot of people.
I was always jealous of the Canadian market, and everyone that grew up in Canada. We've got relatives in Canada, so I'd spend a lot of summers at Prince Edward Island, up in Canada, and we go to Montreal and everything. And I loved the French Canadian packaging, the buy logo packaging.
I'm going to say that the logos,
Help me out. It's La Guerre de Estoles. Is that it? Is that
Des étoiles. La guerre de l'étoile. Étoile means star. Okay. Guerre is war, so War of the Stars.
War of the Stars. Okay. See, and you'd have all the stuff we didn't get. Like, we didn't get an at driver on the Power of the Force. We didn't get Yak Face. You guys did. So all these guys, can't find all that stuff here. Oh man, I got to get back up to Canada again. I do miss Canada.
I gotta learn more French. Jordan, is there anything like modern Star Wars that you're collecting?
Modern. No, you know what? I got into the Hot Toys. I really did. I loved Hot Toys. I know, Paul, you're a big Hot Toy. You guys all are Hot Toys. And I started collecting Hot Toys for myself. Here's the problem with Hot Toys right now that I have personally. They solicit them so far in advance. And it's like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing a year from now. Like, I just got all the new solicitations from Sideshow and Hot Toys about all this great stuff. And it's not going to be out till what, like late 2025 or 2026.
Yeah.
So after a while, I stopped collecting. I'm like, all right, I got what I have. I've got some really early stuff. I think the latest thing I got was like an Ahsoka, like the first original Ahsoka that was going to be released, I think, during COVID, and like it was really delayed a lot, and they didn't know if it was going to come out or not. So that's the first one that I got. That's the latest one I have.
Some might say that's the bonus of collecting Hot Toys. It's like, we'll worry about it when it gets here.
Yeah,
that's future Paul's problem.
Oh, I wasn't trying to single you out.
Right. This was an expensive week for me.
Oh yeah,
in terms of that.
They got more expensive as time went on too, because I mean, when I started, weren't they like $89.99 or $100 and something? Now they're like what, $265, something really high. And
some of the more deluxe ones are $285.
$285. I remember getting the Han Solo and Chewbacca like 2-pack or whatever, and it was a lot of money. It was almost $500.
Yeah,
it was a lot of money.
Yep.
But I think the advancements in like the details, the technology they used, and the
They're
sculpting
beautiful. They're beautiful now.
Really just improved.
Creepy good.
Yeah.
Like, creepy good. Like there's like little miniatures and they're alive. And I talk to them.
Are they all seamless now? Like I haven't seen, are they like, is the wrist joint all seamless with like the skin and everything? You can't perfect?
There are certain figures that are like Ahsoka, for example, they've used so you don't see her elbow joints because she is sleeveless, but they still have the because you need to swap out the hands.
Okay, yeah.
So you still got the pegs there.
Got it.
But again, it's hit or miss because they're saying now that the skin or the material that they're using for that seamless look is very fragile and it's starting to break down, deteriorate, and rip.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's, again, those are things that are they're still trying to refine, and but they're getting there.
So Jordan, you're in your store right now.
I am. I'm at the gallery. I call it the gallery. We do a lot of artwork and everything too, and high-end toys. But then I started getting into children's toys as well. I'll give you a quick tour. I hope this doesn't die. All right, so here it is. So,
wow,
sweet.
That's a big thing.
So on the wall is original artwork. Here's the good stuff that we all love. It's the original. We've got, and they go too deep. C-3PO, all that kind of stuff. Nice. And then we've got like some vintage over here. The Falcon.
There's that Falcon.
There's that Falcon you guys need. You guys if you send me your want list, everyone will be getting a gift this year. So I'll send vintage out for Christmas.
So how long have you had the store for? We've
had the store surprisingly. My chair just got smaller again. We've had the store 9 years. I did a show years ago for Travel Channel. We filmed out of here, season 3, and I kept it. And then I was actually going to get rid of it during COVID, but I did a series with Lucasfilm, a digital series called Our Star Wars Stories, and we filmed out of here too. So it's coming useful. Like the lights are all dimmable, and there are holders on the roof or on the ceiling for lights can be hung, and we've got like studio blankets down. So we transform this any way we want. I know I film some Good Morning America stuff out of here too, every now and then. I love it. I spend more time here, believe it or not, than I do at home. We got a fridge literally with beer filled in the back, and an espresso bar. So I'm here all the time.
You've literally described what I want to turn my basement into. Like, that's the plan for the bait. That's what I wanted, except the amount of space that you have turns me green with envy.
So we've got it's 1,500 square feet top and then bottom. So we've got a staircase that goes down, and the entire bottom is all storage. And then we've got behind me, this curtain is probably another 400, and we've got like a fridge and coffee bar, and then believe it or not, during Christmas, we do something called Sip and Shop, which is we serve wine to moms that come in.
Yeah.
Moms and dads that come in, wine and beer, and let them shop while their kids run around and play.
But yeah, you mentioned the show. You know, I kind of mentioned that in the intro, Toy Hunter. I used to watch it a lot on TV. It was kind of like an inspiration for some of the videos that I do. Also, you know, this show. How did that come about? Like, what were you doing with toys at the time?
I was
when that came on.
My OCD. I'm sorry. I was actually so when Toy Hunter came out, I was a full-time toy dealer. I've been doing this since I was 16 because it was, you know, more fun than getting a paper route. And I do remember they found me through a guy I went to high school with who happened to be dating like the casting director or whatever. And I got called in, and it was by a company called Sharp Entertainment. And they were doing their other big show at the time was a show called Man vs. Food with Adam Richman on Travel Channel. So I got to know Adam and everything. So it's so funny because they pitched the show to, and a lot of people don't know the story, and it's the first time I'm telling it. They pitched it to Discovery Networks first and Discovery Channel. And they said, look, we're going to do an American Pickers for pop culture. And Discovery's like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah, do that. Because they wanted to go against History Channel. And they kind of did it and pitched it and then didn't do anything for like 8 months and got an email one day or a phone call from Discovery going, what's up with that show? And then they had forgotten about it. So they had to cast it and they couldn't find anyone. So I got in like on a Tuesday, and by the time I met the guy who was casting the show, he's like, look, we've got 2 requirements. One, you've got to be able to do this full time. You can't like have a day job and do this on the weekends. Like, this has got to be your full-time job. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. And he says, 2, when you speak, you've got to be able to like string 2 sentences together, coherent sentences, because they had people who were on casting tapes sitting around going, you know, I like toys. It's good money. Like they couldn't speak to the camera. So I said, okay, I think I can do that. So I went in on Tuesday. I signed my contract on a Thursday, and we started filming 3 weeks later, which is
nice,
lightning speed.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, we shot the pilot for Discovery Networks, and the guy who's head of Discovery wasn't there anymore. So Discovery turned him down. They're like, we don't want this.
Oh no.
And they pitched that damn show to every network. Discovery Channel went back to History, tried to pitch History. MTV, G4, which isn't even around anymore. At one time, they looked at OWN, the Oprah Winfrey Network.
Wow.
Sci-Fi Channel. Nobody wanted the show. So finally, it landed at Travel Channel, and it blew the doors off of every other show there, except one, Ghost Adventures, which is still on. Zach Bagans.
Oh wow.
And Travel Channel didn't know what to do with the show. Like, they're like, we're a travel network. We do hotels, restaurants. We've got Anthony Bourdain. We have Samantha Brown. I mean, they've got like all these juggernauts in the travel industry. And here's some dorky guy out in New Jersey looking for toys in like basements and in warehouses. They had no idea what to do with the show, but it popped really high. And it was one of the top rated shows for 3 years. And then finally they had a big meeting, and they go, they said, we need to get back to travel. We need to get back on travel and back on brand. So they canceled my show, another show called Baggage Battles. They canceled another good show called Making Monsters, which was about a costume shop that did monsters.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
And they canceled. They had a car show. I mean, they had a great show. They had a car show about vintage cars. They can't everything transactional, everything about hunting and finding. And then from then on, it was all on brand: hotels, restaurants, food, and they couldn't launch a show. They didn't cancel Ghost Hunters though, or Ghost Adventures, because it rated so high. It was like they're pulling like $1.2 million every week. So it was like it they rated so high, the network the whole thing got elevated. It was an interesting time in my life. I was excited. It's happy.
That's super cool. Were there any standout collections that you can recall, or items that you came across?
Yeah, there was. The cool thing is we aired it, which was cool. It was in Phoenix, Arizona. There was a husband and wife that had like 2 complete sets of 12-backs. They had like 200 carded action figures in factory cases.
Wow.
And at the time, it was like nothing I've ever seen before. Like, just picture 2 complete sets of the first 12, all the empires. They had Jedis. I mean, they had stuff we didn't see. So at the time, I remember like we negotiated something, and for some reason, like the network, they're like, we want 10,000, give them 10,000. And I'm like, all right. So I gave him 10,000 for like camera, but when we divvied it all up, like we realized it was like so much more there. So I went back afterwards and wrote him another big check, like off camera, and because it's good toy karma and you want to be good. That was incredible. Like that was an incredible find that we love. And then there was crazy stuff like Gene Simmons called us for something. And I'm
sorry, real quick. So that one was real? Because I remember that episode.
Yeah.
And you get into the watching it and you say, setup. Well, that was set up. No way those cases were sealed in there. I remember.
Oh, you mean the Star Wars one or Gene Simmons?
Yeah.
Star Wars?
No, the Star Wars one. Yeah.
Hand to God, that was real.
Wow.
They were they were fantastic. And they were right around the corner. I'll tell you why I remember it so much is they were right around the corner. They were actually in Scottsdale, Arizona, not Phoenix. And they were right around the corner from, this is going to sound really out of left field, Barrett Jackson Auction House, which is a vintage car company. And I'm a huge car guy. I'm a huge car guy. So I was like, you can keep the Star Wars. I want to go look at the cars. But no, that was actually real. We had so much stuff that from that show, people were writing in, like we had enough for seasons 3 and 4 and 5. We started filming 4 and we got canceled. We were going up to Canada actually. But what happened is I was able to just take all those leads and literally like mine and live off those leads for, another 2 years.
Okay.
Which was incredible. People dropped out when they're like, you're not going to film it. I'm like, no, the show got canceled. Like, click. You can hear the desperation in people's voice on the phone going, this sucks. Click. But that was real. That was great.
That's awesome. I remember that episode. Yeah. It's just a shock. Well, they were sealed cases.
Yeah.
Like just sitting there. And to them, it was nothing. They had so many. Yeah, right. To show that.
How did they get their hands on all this?
That was Jordan Expressions too, was like, what? Sealed cases? Because they showed you the collection first, if I remember right? The ones that they had. And then it was like, by chance, it was like, oh, we have sealed cases if you need. And it's what?
Yeah, they had they had kids and they had a lot of like grandkids or nephews they'd buy for. But the guy, it got cut out, but the guy's best friend like ran a local mom and pop like toy store. So they had like everything. They had like turtle stuff too, but they're like, it's not a turtle episode. So I couldn't believe it. We got hate mail. I got hate mail too for a long time as well.
Yeah.
Because we were doing, you do the typical formula for TV, what do you want? 20. I'll give you 10. What do you want? 100. Right. I'll give you 50. People are like, you rip them off. I'm like, but it's TV. It's not all real. It's not all fake, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. People who take the time to write those letters out. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
See, and that's why I was asking if it was real or not, because we had this conversation amongst friends and everything. And somebody had said, but did you see the boxes? And I'm like, dude, I got Kenner boxes in the garage.
Yeah.
I could do the same thing and throw tape on right now and say, check out this sealed case.
No,
that was like, no way.
Yeah. I will absolutely tell people what's real and what was set up.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, it's reality television.
Right. That was awesome.
I mean, I do remember telling someone one time, a guy's like, is that all real or is it fake? I said, let me put it this way. I'm in New Jersey. Do you think I'm going to fly all the way to Texas and not find what I'm looking for?
Yeah.
I mean, we knew what they had. I didn't know like where it was or what they wanted. We didn't plant stuff, which I know a lot of people at the time. There was another TV show that came out called Storage Wars, and that was huge.
That
Love
was
Storage
wild,
Wars.
They got in trouble for like seeding the collections and making it look good. We didn't do that, so sometimes like picks weren't that great, and we'd have to cut those short. But other times it was good. You know, sometimes we'd show up and like people didn't have anything, like they just wanted to be on the show, and the producers didn't vet them. So they'd be like, sure, send us photos. And we'd have people like would send us stock photos of stuff they found on eBay or like Gus Lopez's site, Toys R, the archive. So they'd pull stuff and we're like, this is great. And then we show up and they didn't have it. I was like, oh my God. It was really bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think Ernie was asking whether it was real or not because he was the one that wrote one of those letters, maybe.
Yeah.
Dear Jordan, no way. Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you. So I gained I started that series at 165. I ended the series at 198. I gained so much weight being on the road and eating crappy food because we've all been to conventions.
Yeah. We've shot another show.
Convention life. I mean, there's
food.
nothing to do at a hotel at night. But trust me, everyone noticed and they let me know. Like it was horrible. Crappy food on the road. We've all been there. What are you gonna do at 11 o'clock at night? You're gonna go and have a hamburger. Got to get up early the next morning. What are we gonna do? Didn't you just get Yoko? Didn't you guys just get back from C2E2?
Yes, we just got back.
Okay, so like, what do you do? Like after the show, you're tired. Where do you go to eat? Where do you go and eat?
Well, when I'm with the Rock Love ladies, they're eating good. They're eating healthy. It's weird. When I worked for the toy companies, though, like we were eating.
It's weird.
Yeah, like it is weird. Like we eat salads and stuff on Team Rock Love. It's strange.
Yeah,
but the toy company is very different. Fast food,
Funko?
burgers, whatever, pizza. Yeah,
Funko fast food. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Since we're all big Star Wars collectors, just want to ask Jordan, do you have like a central display piece in your collection, or your most treasured Star Wars thing?
I've got. Yeah, I want to hear everyone else's though too, because I'm monopolizing this conversation. I feel horrible.
You're the guest. I want to go.
You're the guest, man.
Yeah, we talk all the time.
Oh, it's our fault.
Okay.
Oh god.
So I've got these. Woo. So these are my original action figures that I grew up with, and they were at my mom and dad's house. And my friends Steve and Julia went and got them from my mom and dad's house, and they had them framed. And it's my Luke and my Vader.
That's so cool.
And my Fett. They're not worth a lot of money, but they're mine, and it's all I have left from my original collection.
Mm-hmm.
So that means a lot to me. That's basically.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's
I like
basically
like that. Yeah.
They're beautiful. They're shadow box. They're great.
Yeah.
It's a really nice display.
Yeah. And they're hot glued on. They just glued them on because, let's be honest, none of those figures are like gonna make anyone rich. But they're mine, and to me, that's what I love. When I'm gone, are my kids gonna want them? Probably not. But they're mine for now.
It was your start. And it's showing your start. Yeah.
I will leave them to you guys. I will bequeath them to the Boba Squadron.
One each.
My gift to you.
I'm the same way, man. My kids don't like anything Star Wars. Like, okay, Dad. And I think because of that, like it was all in the house, and as much as I collected and everything, like they didn't care. They still to this day, they still don't care. It's like, whatever. Cool ride at Disneyland. And that's about it to them. But I'm always like, who am I going to leave this to?
How old are they?
24, 22, 20, and 19.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
mine is the same way.
Yeah.
Paul, you've got kids too, right? You've got family.
Yeah. I got two boys. One who's turning 20 at the end of May.
Okay.
And the other one's 14. And the 14-year-old, he's not interested in any of this, really.
It's weird. I know.
Yeah, and the 20-year-old, he's he'll take it all, but he's not an avid collector himself.
Yeah.
Like he likes getting stuff, which is great,
Yeah.
but it's not like he takes care of his collectibles. They're all sort of scattered in his room and whatnot. So,
Yoko, do you have kids?
I have cats. They couldn't care less.
No, the cats. I see your lot.
Yeah.
Speaking of cats, I do have to see the Loth cat.
Yeah, this is what I pulled out to be it might be my favorite Star Wars collectible. I just got it at the beginning of the year, and but so it is fan made, but it's like a replica of the Ahsoka Loth cats, and
that one is your favorite now?
I think
He's
so.
huge.
I
Look how
mean, I
big that
spent,
thing is.
I spent a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
Look at the
a life-size Loth cat. So
Is
pretty
it
cool.
is it heavy? It looks like it's got weight to
It's
it.
pretty solid, yeah. So the base is 3D printed, and then with the fur attached to it. So he's pretty. I mean, he's lighter than my real cats, but
Did you get that at convention?
No, I got it online. It's they're called hyperspace props, and they've
I
been
love
making
that.
them in waves. Yeah. Pre-orders.
You know, this
gorgeous.
is just what amazes me, not only about the Star Wars community, but like just fans in general. They're so talented. Like that blows me away that people do that. I'm so used to seeing lightsabers and blasters, but to see that's incredible. Everyone's got more talent than I could ever do. That's beautiful.
oh my god, I got this right here. This is actually as close to a replica of the helmet that my character wears in the Mandalorian. It's not Black Series. This is actually there's a long story behind this. So the props maker Frank Ippolito, he reached out to me and he worked on season 2 of The Mandalorian, his props company, and he actually painted my helmet. And
cool.
he reached out and said, "Hey, I painted your helmet, so if you want me to do one for you, just provide the helmet and I'll be happy to do that." I thought, "Oh, that's wonderful." So I went about trying to find a screen accurate helmet, and there's a company called Far and Away Creations, and they're the ones that sort of sourced and created the helmets for Rogue One, and all the helmets from Rogue One were grandfathered down to Mandalorian, basically. And so I tracked down the owner of the company. His name is Cal Pierce, and I tracked him down. He's got another small company called Moncal Props, and they had a sale on for blank helmets, and so I ordered from him a helmet, and then I got it, looked great, sent it off to Frank to get painted, and then I got an email from Cal saying, "I just recognized your name. Are you the same guy that is, that's on the show?" And I said, "Yeah." And in fact, that's why I bought the helmet, is because I've got the guy who originally painted it, and he's going to be painting that one. And so Cal said, "Oh, well, that one's not actually as screen accurate as we can get. I actually have one that is exactly the same kind as we provided for Rogue One. So I'll send that to you for free," which was amazing.
He's got a secret stash.
Yeah. So I was able to send that over to Frank. And then, the pandemic happened. And Frank had to move his business to a bunch of different locations and stuff like that. So I finally, after the pandemic, this just came a few months ago, and it is like from the inside. It's an exact replica of how the helmet originally started off. The helmet we use on set has been since modified,
I think it's
for usage, but this is almost exactly the same. It's as close as you can get to being a 1-for-1 direct replica of the helmet that is. So I'm very happy with this. Really proud of the work that I did on the show, and so that's kind of the crown jewel of the collection here. And then there's this other thing here too. Topps made my character a card, and
I like
so
that.
I'm very happy about this. Now they gave me a set of 100 of these blanks, and it says here the actor issue autograph. So they're intentionally blank so I could autograph them for friends. I'll try that.
Oh, that's cool.
Autograph them for friends. Yeah, and so it's different from the signed ones that you can get in the Topps packs. And I only have 2 of these left. So
You can
They have to both.
personalize those too and everything. You can say whatever you want on those. That's cool.
And he
I
has
like
been.
So, yes, a lot of FUs out there.
Ernie, did you show yours?
No, I did not.
I want to. Yeah.
What's yours?
Ernie
Ernie?
I have-
or what?
I have many. Yeah. What happened? I have so many, of course, from Star Wars being my first love and Boba Fett. I used to have a Boba Fett shrine, is what everybody called it from the other shows that I do. The fans and watchers ended up calling it Ernie's Fett shrine. Unfortunately, I had to move, but there was lots and lots of pieces in there that I loved that people had given me, handmade and everything like that. So there was that. Then I moved here, and then everybody coined the term the Paul Shrine because they knew about the Fett Shrine.
Yeah.
And it's been great being a part of this crew and show as a prospect. Hopefully someday I'll really be here. But with that, Paul is actually somebody who I know in Star Wars. Can you believe that? So I do have one of those cool personal cards,
Beautiful.
among others that we've gotten, right? So that's all a part of it. But Adam, my friend over at Gentle Giant, had this sent to me. And then Paul and I got to meet in person finally as he took a trip to LA, and he signed it for me. So that is
I like that.
one of the greatest pieces that I have in there,
What does it say
along
on the
with
back, Ernie?
it's right there. P.S. You're cut because, like I said, I'm not. Oh, wrong hand. I'm lucky to be here every day on the show.
I don't think it says you're
This-
cute.
P.S.
Paul will-
cute.
Yeah, I need to add that E in there, and then it will be perfect.
Oh, you should.
That's why I
Yeah.
put the
Why don't we do that?
exclamation point there.
All right, cool.
This is my Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
This is my show and tell. Nerd. When I got the signed at Celebration from Mark Hamill,
Love it.
at the time I didn't like things being, I guess, personalized to me. So when he's like, "Oh, how do you want it signed?" And I think he'd been there all day. There's a guy with one of those big accordion style folders. I think he was buying a whole bunch of autographs for resale.
Yeah.
Yeah. So by the time he got to me, he's like, "How do you what do you want on it?" And here's me with my one autograph. I said, just write, may the force be with you and sign it. I don't need it personalized. So he kind of like begrudgingly starts autographing and he goes, "One for Mr. eBay." And I'm like, "Does Mark Hamill just call me a scalper?" But it. And then as I realized, like, that's one of my favorite Star Wars things because, it's like kind of unique to me. I'm like, what if he said that I just realized, what if he said that to everybody that day? And then everyone has the same unique collectible like me
Yeah.
with the story. But that's the one. That's the one.
Well, now this is your favorite Star Wars memory. Now you can screenshot this, and we can all sign like a photo. We can all sign this for Mr. eBay.
It's a tag. Tag Mark Hamill. With all the new shows, announcements for Star Wars, what are you most excited about that's coming up?
It hasn't been announced yet, and I don't know if it will be. This is more what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping 2027. I'm hoping to see a re-release of Star Wars in the movie theater, just like they did for Phantom Menace. That's really because for me personally, that will complete my circle of life. I started there.
Oh,
I would love to see it come back in the movie theaters again in 2027, celebrating 50 years. That would really make my day. We should all meet in like 2 years and just go and see it.
just like this weekend where people are watching Phantom Menace in theaters for the 25th anniversary happening right now.
Right now.
I'm hoping to be doing that right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Today, Star Wars Day.
Earlier today, in fact.
Okay.
What about you,
guys-
Paul?
What about?
What about me?
What about me?
What do you want?
I am actually looking very forward to. I mean, all of it. Really. I mean, we're in a golden age of content, and to the point. And we've discussed this, and everybody knows my stance on this. It's just like we've become spoiled as a fan base with all the content that's been coming out, because when we start eating our own and start poo-pooing and getting upset over certain things, it's like people don't remember that barren wasteland where there was nothing But and so I'm very, very happy to have everything coming out. I'm really looking forward to Andor season 2, and how they build that up and link it because of the way that the time jumps are going to be happening in those episodes. I'm looking forward to watching The Acolyte as well. Skeleton Crew's right up there. The Mando Grogu movie, Ahsoka season 2, all those things. Really. Yeah, and Tales of the Empire. So just
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Tales of the
It's just
Empire.
the above.
Also, we're also watching
Yes.
today, or have already watched today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Binging all those episodes.
It was
Today.
so good.
It was
great.
so good.
Yeah, can you
I
believe-
loved it.
This isn't pre-recorded at all. Yeah, no, it's those things. It's all those things. And the big one really though, I mean, that's such a great idea, Jordan. 1977 to 2027.
Yeah.
To have that re-released in the theaters. Oh my gosh, 50 years of Star Wars. That's incredible.
Ernie, what about you, man?
I'm excited for the next Star Wars movies. There's nothing like that hype of you getting your ticket, seeing the teaser, seeing the trailer, what's going to happen, and then you're in the theater watching it, and a whole new era has happened, and a whole new story is beginning.
I think if they do release it again at 50, I think what's really important to me is also, I think recently what's been happening with like the pandemic and streaming and everything, we as fans have missed that shared experience that we used to have at theaters with each other, or just that shared experience as a moviegoer. There's something very, very tangible about being in a movie theater with the lights down, sharing that moment with everyone. And I think we've kind of gotten away from that a little bit just because of the way media is consumed nowadays. I'd love to go see Star Wars in a movie theater with a bunch of fans. It's cool. Yoko, how about you?
I am super excited for Ahsoka season 2 whenever that happens. That's probably the piece of media I'm most looking forward to. But I'm also really excited for Star Wars Celebration in Tokyo next year.
Yes.
Yes. Because
So-
tickets just went on sale
Yeah.
yesterday,
Yesterday.
May 2nd.
So hopefully I'm very happy right now that I got my tickets. But
You did.
Yeah. You know what else I'm excited about, Kev, is I love that I can style myself in Rockcliffe Jewels for one, but also heroes and villains. I love that there is fashionable, like nice, like, clothing and accessories for Star Wars fans, both male and female, unisex, all over the place, as Ernie likes to say.
You're welcome.
So yeah, that's fun for me too. It's a fun way for me to express my fandom, right? Being able to wear this stuff.
Hey, happy May the 4th. You can show off your love for Star Wars fandom with some great fan gear from heroes and villains.
From items like bomber jackets and hoodies to satin pajamas, bags, and so much more.
And if you use our code BOBA20, receive 20% off your order. Plus, it's stackable. Go to heroesvillains.com and get all your stuff today.
Of course, our coupon code is stackable with the great deals that are happening on the website right now. They don't have only Star Wars stuff. They have great fan gear. So make sure you check out heroesvillains.com and use code BOBA20 for 20% off your entire order. More specifically for me, I'm really excited for the Acolytes, and whenever Carson Teva gets an action figure. Let's make it happen soon.
Don't hold your breath.
Maybe, sorry, I can't wait to get the Carson Teva figure that was just announced today on May 4th.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That would be it, right? Cut that in. Oh my
Alternate
God.
ending.
Yeah, Paul got a figure.
Can you guys
Finally.
We're
yeah,
so happy. Yeah.
We knew it
should
would
we
happen.
record that?
Yeah.
Record a fake intro? Guys, can you believe he got a figure?
Yeah. Drop it in.
Hey, well, this was a lot of fun chatting about Star Wars with friends here today on May 4th. I hope you have a great May 4th holiday. Jordan, is there anything you want to throw out there for people that you're doing that you want them to check out?
No, I'm always available on all social media at Jordan Hembrough, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Drop by, say hello, and hopefully I'll come back on. You guys will have me back on. We'll talk again. Thank you so much. You've been
Absolutely.
wonderful. Had so much fun.
Do you want to come back even though nobody was really listening? As we,
Sure, I'll come back. You know why?
as
'Cause
with every-
it makes me feel like I'm at home. You're like, yeah, you really are like family.
Oh, thank you, Jordan. Yoko, what about yourself?
At Yoko McCann on Instagram and YouTube.
Paul, what about you, man?
What about me? You want to start a fight? No. Happy Star Wars Day, everybody. Depending on when this aired, you might have already seen me down at the Yonge and Dundas Square at the GameStop there, where from 2 to 4 I was signing autographs, celebrating Star Wars Day. The Carson Teva helmet has been stocked up down there, so you can get yours signed, or you might have already gotten it signed. I don't know when this is airing, but I was there, or I should have been there, unless something catastrophic happened. But
Oh my
I had a
God,
great
why would
time.
you say that?
I don't know. It's just pre-records are weird. Yeah, you can fix it in editing, right? You can fix this in post. Fix it in post. But you can find me on Instagram at Angry Uppa, on X or Twitter at Bitter Asian Dude, and of course I got a YouTube channel myself at Bitter Asian Dude Inc., where my show is Funboxing Sundays, where I open up a geeky collectible, do a half-ass review, and we chat. So you can catch me there.
Ernie, what about yourself?
I'm a lot of places. You know, this is the first time going back to a full week of everything, but it is May the 4th today. Happy anniversary, baby. I love you. We are those Star Wars nerds. And you can find me on the Fallen Fett Chronicles every Wednesday night, found on the Fallen Fett's YouTube channel, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, along with Toy Talk with They're Not Dolls on Thursday and the Boba Squadron on Mondays, and more talk with the Sarlacc Digest on Wednesdays. Did you want all that or just one shot?
Yeah, I didn't want it. I just needed one thing.
Okay.
No,
Just
I'm
do
kidding.
the
I'm going to
Fallen
use
Fett
that. You're good. You're good. You're good. I'll use that one.
Wait, you
I
stopped
just
and asked
started-
about that when you said 8 things for your favorite thing, but that you're gonna stop
Sorry.
yourself?
Star Wars is all my favorite. I just
All right.
roll. I keep going.
I'm just
No,
going
we
to
noticed.
swap you out. I'm just going to swap you out. Why did I bring Mark Hamill up? Of course, please. Of course, catch Unboxing Thursdays every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube at Toying Around. And of course, I'm on Instagram at Toying Around. Boba Squadron every Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, where the Boba Squadron, right here, we talk about the newest Star Wars collectibles and media. So everybody, have a great May 4th. May the Force be with you, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and see you all in the next video.
Happy Star Wars
Bye.
Day.
Bye.
Thumbs down, you. All right, and there you go.
You said Boba Squadron.